Thank you.
For 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin by thanking the departments and agencies represented here today and our entire intelligence community. In addition to protecting us from unseen threats, your continued work contributed to the successful operation this weekend that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. I'm really grateful for your diligence, your commitment to the mission, and service to our country. Thank you. Director Wray, you said that when it comes to foreign interference in American elections, 2018 midterm elections were a, quote, dress rehearsal for the big show in 2020. And the 2019 Worldwide Threats Assessment reports, we expect our adversaries and strategic competitors to refine their capabilities and add new tactics as they learn from each other's experiences, suggesting the threat landscape could look very different in 2020 and in future elections. Sir, as much as you can share in this public setting, can you detail what those new tactics might be and increasingly sophisticated capabilities that our adversaries are developing?
Well, I think you anticipated part of what I'm going to say, which is most of what I would say in response to that question really can't be done in an open setting. I will say that as I've mentioned in response to Congresswoman Rice, some of the things that the Russians have tried in other countries, we expect them to try to do here as well. You know, it's pretty common to test it out in other jurisdictions. Thankfully, we don't have elections every year, so that gives us a little bit of time to plan ahead. Certainly, technological tools keep evolving, so their ability to come up with different kinds of false personas, the trolls, the bots, all those things become more vexing and more challenging, which puts the premium on the point that I was making before about our working with, on the foreign influence side, working with the social media companies in particular to really get them to keep upping their game as part of the defense.
Okay. The 2019 Worldwide Threats Assessment also reports that Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran currently have the ability to carry out a sophisticated cyber attack on our elections. We know that they have the capability. In addition to that, would you say that these countries have the motivation or the intent to attack our elections?
Again, I want to be a little bit careful what I can say in this setting, but I don't think we have seen an intention by those other three countries to attack election infrastructure. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're not looking carefully at what the Russians attempted to do and trying to learn lessons from that. But all of those countries, in different ways, are clearly interested in engaging in malign foreign influence.
Right.
Difference from interference with election infrastructure. And they all have different ways of going about it, but they're all kind of taking pages out of each other's playbooks. So as we project forward, it's something that we have to be vigilant about.
And are you worried about copycats from smaller actors, non-state actors on our elections?
Oh, absolutely. Cyber actors, and where that becomes particularly challenging is one of the phenomena that we see in the cybercrime arena these days is what we call the blended threat, which is where nation-state actors essentially hire cyber mercenaries. So you used to be able to separate the world into the cyber criminals and the nation states. Well, now, if you see what might be a cyber criminal actor, he could be acting on his own for financial benefit or for his own whims, or he could be hired by some nation state.
Thank you. Mr. McAleenan, earlier this month, this committee had a field hearing on election security in my district in Northern Illinois, and during the hearing, state and local election officials spoke so highly of their work with CISA's senior cybersecurity advisor, Matthew Masterson. These officials coordinate with Mr. Masterson and his team to prepare and respond to emerging threats to our election infrastructure, and they testified that this coordination was incredibly helpful and valuable. So what can Congress do to support and expand CISA's resources in this area as we prepare for growing threats in 2020 and beyond?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for that feedback. Mr. Masterson is a tremendous professional and well-regarded in the field. I had the opportunity to speak with state and local election officials in Illinois when I was in Chicago a few months ago, and I had that same sense of the partnership with CISA. What can we do to expand it? We do want to increase our presence, our protective security advisor presence, conveying the capabilities of CISA to support counties, townships that are running elections nationwide. We'd like to be out and present in more places because it's that direct interaction when you have a partner that you know that has that expertise that can really change your capabilities and your readiness. So that's a key area that CISA is looking for additional reach and resources.
Awesome. So I'm about out of time. I wanted to talk about domestic terrorism a little bit, so we're going to send over some questions. I know it's your last day, sir, but I would hope that the department would respond. Our committee is continuing to explore how we can protect our country from these emerging threats of the violent extremists, and appreciate your ongoing work in that area. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Thank you very much. Would the gentlelady want to